This is the RAD Position with ASRT CEO and Executive Director Melissa Pergola. A podcast for medical imaging and radiation therapy professionals. Hi there, and welcome back to the RAD Position podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Pergola, ASRT CEO.
And I'm her podcast partner, Ray Arambula.
Thank you so much for listening, and be sure to subscribe so you can get updates on new episodes. So today we have ASRT Secretary Jennifer Thompson joining us. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello. Thank you for inviting me here.
We're excited to have you because we know that you are so passionate and you're an educator, and you're going to talk to us about the importance of student advocacy, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
And it'll be exciting to hear your firsthand experience just around advocacy and how you really inspire others.
Yeah. So now we're going to introduce Dr. Thompson. Dr. Thompson is a professor and radiography program director for Austin Peay State University in Clarksville, Tennessee. She has been a registered radiologic technologist for more than 15 years. She's held numerous leadership roles with the Tennessee Society of Radiologic Technologists. And in addition to her work with the TSRT and ASRT, she was selected by the American Registry of Radiologic Technologists as a gold standard recipient in 2023. That's amazing.
Thank you.
She also won the 2024 ASRT Award for Advocacy for her efforts in advocating on behalf of the profession, and ASRT's Distinguished Author Award in honor of Harold Silverman as a co-author of an article in radiation therapy. That is so impressive.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming on with us tonight.
Yeah, no problem. I am looking forward to having our conversation.
Yeah.
So Jennifer, why are you passionate about advocacy, especially at the student level?
So we all know that students are the future of the profession. And when we have advocacy at a student level, it's providing students with that professional foundation.
Yeah.
As educators, I think that we should give them experiences and every opportunity before they're placed in situations where they're defending their scope of practice and even defending their scope of practice within other departments. Students also have a broader sense of networking. They have a broader population in which they can advocate to. First, they have their cohort where they are uplifting each other, telling each other about their experiences in clinical. So that is them practicing verbally saying what they do as a radiologic technologist. Next, they are on campus. So that's a different population that us as radiologic technologists have. So when they are on campus, they are able to recruit campus-wide. And we also have high schools and junior highs coming into the university where they can recruit and let them know what a radiologic technologist is. Yes. We also have a uniform on campus where they have to wear a radiologic technology t-shirt. And so if they're at Starbucks getting coffee or they're at the cafe or the library, either one, they're exposing the word radiologic technologist to the environment, or people are coming up and asking them, what is this? What is that program? How can I be involved? Then when they go to clinical, we know that they are educating their patients because they state who they are. They say that they are a student radiographer, and that opens up the door to the patients to ask, oh, well, where are you going to school? How do you become a radiographer? How do you become a radiologic technologist? And then we know from research that when a student comes into a clinical environment, the radiologic technologist teaching them gets this renewed sense of passion. And so they're able to kind of spark advocacy within that radiologic technologist. On a state level, they become affiliate members. They go to affiliate meetings where they can grow their advocacy network. On a national level, they can become ASRT members where they're encouraged to reach out to lawmakers, vote for their leaders, and utilize all the ASRT resources that are given to them on the website. For my program, nationally, anytime I'm invited to go speak at a conference or a meeting. So I invite students to come speak with me at meetings where they learn how to speak about the profession, learn how to communicate with others, and broadening their scope of networking. And then on a legislative level, they learn the issues that lawmakers actually care about. And once they learn about those issues, we can change the message. So students and ourselves as radiologic technologists, we care about patient safety, we care about image quality, but that may not be the message that lawmakers are giving us. And so they have to change that communication. And I do think that within the lawmakers, looking at shortages and budgets within the state, I think that upper management is looking at the same thing. So if they're learning how to speak on that legislative level, I think they're also learning to learn how to communicate on that management level as well. And then lastly, we can advocate internationally too. So I took my students to the Netherlands where they went to another school, learned what their scope of practice was versus the United States scope of practice, what it takes to be a technologist in the Netherlands versus the United States, how their education was different and how national testing was different. So it gave our students a sense that being certified nationally was really important for patient care and image quality.
Yeah, it's so interesting. You talk about sort of the breadth of reach that a student has. And we know our students are important and they're the future of the generation, but I never thought about all of the different places that they touch and make an impact in advocacy. That's really cool.
And it's so inspiring to hear that even at this level, they can make a huge impact simply by wearing a T-shirt, walking into Starbucks, and people asking questions.
So Jennifer, I'm going to ask a question just a little bit different about advocacy. So how does interdisciplinary collaboration fit here?
So this has been one of my passions on campus. We have been working with nursing and public health because I think even within nursing, within public health, within us as radiologic technology, we don't need to be working in silos anymore. We are a healthcare team. We're not just a radiology department. We are part of the greater spectrum of that hospital as a community. The more that we integrate radiologic technology within the healthcare team, we're going to have positive outcomes. So that can be continuity of care, the patients having confidence in us as providers because we are communicating. And I think that interprofessional development and education within radiologic technology has been growing in popularity. I see it in social media and absolutely celebrate all of the programs that are doing IPE. We have been doing SIM IPE for over 5 years now. And when we look at 2025, we know 5 years ago was COVID in 2020 when we were told we need to separate. And whenever we started communicating with nursing, we said, no, there's no more separation. We need to be together learning how to take care of these patients. And our students weren't able to work with COVID patients. So we created simulation where now they can work together on a COVID patient. So that's where it started. So we do have a few different interprofessional simulations that we do. We meet about 6 times a year and have 9 different simulations that we do. So 3 of them involve the same patient. So he is Juan. He is our COVID patient on a ventilator. He's very, very ill, and he has a chest tube. During the simulation, the patient starts to destat rather quickly after the nurses do their assessment. And what nursing is doing is they are calling respiratory, they're doing suctioning, they're doing all these life-saving measures to help out our patient. His name is Juan. They're trying to do everything they can do to save the patient. So our students come in to do the chest x-ray. We watch how they communicate. How do we need to move Juan? He's on the vent. He is destatting, so we need to do it rather quickly. And then they take the image. Radiology calls nursing, asks them to call the doctor for the report, and the reason why he was destatting is because his chest tube was in the wrong place.
Right.
So in the end of the simulation, nursing realizes there's no way they could have saved the patient without us.
Right.
And within the simulation, or right after the simulation, we do something called a debriefing, which is actually more important than the simulation. And it's because that's where all the communication happens. And so in that debriefing, we talk about what we thought we knew about the patient, what we knew about the patient when we came in, what interventions were we doing for that patient, what we did well, what we think we should do better. We do leave about 20 minutes within that debrief to start talking about radiography, radiologic technology, to educate the nursing students. What is our scope of practice? We show them the images, and then they are given time to ask us questions about our scope. What is the thing that we're putting behind the patient? Why are they having to leave the room whenever they're taking the images? What is the little box that they're putting on the image receptor? They don't understand all of these things. And so when we get the surveys back, all the nurses say, we want to work with radiology. It's one of the best parts about our simulation. Other simulations we do, we're more of a spectator. And I always teach my students, we cannot be expected to be seen unless we see them.
Right.
But one of our students' favorite stories, and this goes along with advocacy and nurses or other healthcare professionals knowing what we do, there was a code simulation, and in the end, they do have to do CPR. And in the simulation, there weren't enough nurses to bag the patient and to do all of the other things that they were doing to save the patient. And one of our students said, well, I can do the bagging. I can do it. And the nurses all looked at the student and said, you know CPR?
Wow.
So this is it's kind of our running joke. But if nurses don't know that we can help, especially in those moments to save a life, that would be very concerning for us. So when our students are in simulation and they're watching the nurses using their critical thinking skills and how they're processing, I think it gives them a level of respect for them. And then whenever they're watching us do our critical thinking, I think it gives them the respect for us.
Yeah, mutual respect.
Right.
We'll be right back after this short message. ASRT members, did you know that you're sitting on a treasure trove of savings? Introducing ASRT Member Perks, your exclusive gateway to incredible deals. Whether you're shopping for auto insurance, planning a getaway, or treating yourself to a night out, your Member Perks provide you with discounts that can add up quickly. So why not start saving today? Unlock your ASRT Member Perks and experience the benefits you deserve. Visit asrt.org/memberperks to learn more and start saving now.
Wow, Jennifer, that's quite the production, but obviously a necessary one for your students to go through these simulations.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And you're talking a lot about IPE. You said interprofessional education and SIMS. And I think that one of the most important things that I heard you say is that the other health professionals were more educated about who we are and what we do, because that's part of being seen too, right? We need other healthcare professionals to see us and know who we are. And that creates a couple of things. It creates mutual respect, which ultimately creates better patient care, better patient outcomes. But it also, I think, as we continue to do that, will help with our legislative efforts. Because when they realize who we are and what we do, we won't see as much encroachment, because they won't try to take over our scope, because they realize how significant our training and our scope is. So another thing that I want you to talk about because of that is, can you talk a little bit about student interactions with lawmakers and the importance of state affiliate and ASRT membership?
Oh, absolutely. So in 2023, I would say one of my greatest accomplishments within that cohort was having them involved in advocacy on that legislative level, watching them have communication with each other and as a cohort about the bill that was introduced, having those arguments in class, whether it was a good bill or a bad bill, but they wanted to know how they could help. And so I said, well, I can't do this alone, and you're here with me, so just come along on the journey with me. Yes. And so what we did is we went to the Capitol, and I gave them a few tips. I said, these lawmakers, they normally wear a suit and they have a pen. If you find someone with a pen, go follow them, find out who they are. They came in with their scrubs on, so they looked the part. Yes. But they went door to door, knocked on lawmakers' doors. Nice. They talked to the staffers. We know the staffers are the real work behind the lawmakers. Right. And so they were able to tell the story, give them the one-pager on why the bill was bad, why we needed to have state licensure. They got into elevators with lawmakers so they could have their 30-second
elevator speech.
With their elevator speech. And when they got done, they were pumped and full of energy.
How exciting.
And, the whole time we were there, of course, we looked like nurses. And so they didn't really know who we were until we educated them. But all throughout the day, the lawmakers would come to them and say, thank you so much for serving the community. We really appreciate you. Yeah. But what it did was give them a sense that they do have a part, that the lawmakers will listen. So that was really nice to see.
Yeah. And if other educators in other states want to do this with their students, they have resources, right? They can contact their state affiliate. The state affiliates work with the ASRT, Government Relations Department. We have resources. We can help. Where you said you were unsure, that we have things in place that if they contact their state affiliate or us, now we can help with that. So I highly recommend to educators that they get their students involved in this way. Reach out to your state affiliate, reach out to us, and we will help you. Because like you said, it's so important. You're seeing the benefit of having those students go there, find their voice, articulate our importance. And so I think that's amazing that you do that.
Thanks. And then for the importance of them being state affiliate members, we see our numbers dropping with affiliate membership. Yeah. If students come to the meetings, they see the value. Yeah. They see that there are quality speakers to give them their continuing education. There are numerous volunteers that are having that affiliate work, and I want them to see that. Anytime I'm involved in a conference, my students are there working it. Yeah. Because I think they need that buy-in. They do want to feel a part of something. And so if I give them that ability to be a part of the affiliate early on, it will drive them to be a member whenever they are a registered radiologic technologist. ASRT membership, absolutely required within my program. The amount of resources that ASRT has for students alone, I can just say there's so many, it can be overwhelming. The ASRT is absolutely there for the student's journey until they get to be a radiologic technologist and then beyond. Yeah. So what I do have our students do is they do have to apply to the Student Leadership Development Program. Cool. Even if it's just writing the essay on why they want to be a part of leadership. Yeah. Again, giving them that communication, giving them that opportunity to say why they want to be a radiologic technologist is very important. Yeah. And then we know that education is expensive. And so another opportunity that they have within the ASRT Foundation is to receive scholarships. Yeah. And again, practicing communication by writing why they want to be in the profession.
What you're doing, Jennifer, is you are creating that inspiration that will really fuel the next generation of leaders. I often say the only reason why I've done anything I've done is because when I was in school, I had an educator like you. And we had to join. We were made to go to the conference. And I remember being at my first conference and being in absolute awe of the professionals. And it was in that moment that I knew I was part of something bigger. And if she had never done that, I don't know if I would be sitting here on the RAD Position podcast. I really don't. So you are making a huge difference.
Thank you.
Well, and I love what you said in that you can't do it alone. And the fact that you're bringing your students along is not only inspiring, but you can sense that you're empowering them as well, not only for their career growth, but to actually make a real difference and see the impact of that difference and bring that back to their state and local levels. And that's very encouraging to hear.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Okay, Dr. Thompson, I guess Ray has a game for us. And I'll tell you, like I tell everybody else, I also am totally blindsided every time, so don't feel bad.
Given your work around advocacy, we're going to put your skills to the test. So we're calling this game Advocacy Wildcard. So in my hand, I have a selection of random causes, and you're each going to select one card. So
okay.
You're going to read your cause to the audience, and then you'll have 60 seconds to develop a passionate elevator pitch.
Wow. Okay, so mine is ban half-empty chip bags, full bags only.
That's a tough one. And Jennifer?
Traffic tickets can be erased if you perform a flawless TikTok dance challenge.
So I want to talk to you about something that is extremely important. I don't know if you've been trying to get lunch for your children to go to school and you want to make sure that they have a good meal. And you have bought like those individual chips to send with them, right? Because they need something healthy, but they also, there are kids, right? And you find out that when they got to school, that bag was half empty.
Oh, it's so annoying.
Right? And your child comes home hungry and you paid that for a full bag of chips. Don't you think that we should ban half full bags of chips or half empty bags of chips? It's so unfair to our children.
It is. I know my children would be happier to have a fuller bag of chips.
Right? Yeah. So you're with me? Ban half empty chip bags.
I'm with you.
Okay.
But let's hear it from Jennifer.
Okay.
We also know that there is a health crisis with the rise in diabetes and the rise in obesity. And most of the time, parking is more difficult around gyms.
Oh.
And so they are parking illegally to get to these gyms.
Interesting.
And if we are able to waive those parking tickets based on a TikTok dance, they have been working out, using their body, doing these TikTok dances. And so not only have they been able to go to the gym, but they've also been working out, doing these TikTok dances. So I think that we're going to have a decrease in the rates of diabetes and obesity within the younger population.
Oh, no.
That's a huge statement, Jennifer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I think she wins. She went to the revenue and
I know
that sealed the deal.
I know.
But if we could combine TikTok dances
with full bags of chips,
everybody's winning. I love it.
Oh, like when you dip, I dip, you dip.
There you go.
That's so good. All right, Ray. You know what time it is?
We see you segment time.
It is. So let's see what question we have today.
Okay.
Good day, Dr. Pergola. My question is, do you think the job market for radiologic technologists could eventually experience a downturn similar to the 2008-2010 period, leading to an oversaturation of technologists and a shortage of available positions? Thank you.
What a great question. So it really is a great question. Thank you for that. I've been around a long time. So 35 years in this profession. And so I fully understand the question that you're asking, right? Traditionally, we had seen sort of a cycle of a glut and a shortage. And I lived through multiple of those throughout my career. So when I graduated, I walked into a hospital and 3 of us were hired on the spot for whatever shift we wanted. And then I graduated students who had to take part-time jobs wherever they could just to get their foot in the door. So it has been an issue in the past. And I would love to hear what Dr. Thompson and Ray have to say about it. And I'll just say, I think this is different. So we are seeing shortages in all healthcare professions. And the projections for all healthcare professions out decades are still looking like we're going to have shortages. And I think there are a lot of things that have impacted that. And one in particular, I think, was COVID. My really long short answer is that I don't think that we're going to see the same cyclical nature. I think it's important, the efforts that we're doing to make sure that the profession is seen and that we bring up the next generation, understanding who we are, wanting to be a medical imaging or radiation therapy professional. It's a great question. What do you all think?
So I don't think it's going to be an issue either. We do have our students graduating, getting into those entry-level positions, but what we're seeing is they're not staying in those positions. They are going into other modalities. I know that we're wary of AI, but I'm thankful of AI because I think it is giving a new opportunity for our radiologic technologists to move in a different direction. So there are multiple opportunities that are out there that may have not been there in 2008. And our students are always looking for growth. The technologists are looking for growth. And those opportunities are going to be there. And I don't see them ending anytime soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be a key difference is the increasing role in AI in radiology. I think AI and machine learning are changing the landscape of all careers, not just in the medical field.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it will reduce demand. I think it's more likely to increase demand, especially for those who are willing to upscale in some of their talents and skills.
Right. Upskilling, and also the fact that there will always be that human component, right? So we will always be here. There will always be jobs, maybe new opportunities, but also at the heart of what we do, that won't go away. Right. Yeah. Thank you again. What a great question.
Well, that was a great episode. Jennifer, thank you for being here. It's exciting to just hear about your leadership and how you're empowering students to become active contributors into this profession. So thank you.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. And thank you for your advocacy by having this podcast.
Absolutely. We'll be right back after this short message.
Computed tomography technology is evolving quickly. Keep pace with CT Basics 2.0, the series. This comprehensive series covers a variety of procedures in modern computed tomography. With 12 self-paced modules and a free bonus practice test, you will earn 16 structured education CE credits and be prepared for the Computed Tomography Registry exam. Get started today at asrt.org/CTBasics.
Hey, Ray.
Yes.
It's time for updates.
It is.
Yeah, so you know what we say?
Don't put yourself in a bad position.
Stay up to date with the RAD position.
There you go.
Did you know that ASRT members have access to nearly 300 medical imaging and radiation therapy procedures to refresh their knowledge and skills? Did you, Ray?
I know now.
Well, I'm glad you know, because these refresher educational videos cover many things. They cover patient care, exam prep, positioning, and anatomy of interest. The modules are perfect for brushing up on clinical activities or even preparing for the CQR requirement that many of our technologists have. So where can we find out more?
asrt.org/clinical refreshers.
Excellent. Well, what an inspiring episode.
It was.
Yeah. We do need to inspire all educators to be that involved and get their students that involved because like we said, it really does make a difference in the engagement and the commitment and the volunteerism and the leadership that is coming in the future. Yeah. All right. Well, as we wrap up, we want to tell you we can't wait till we see you next time. And don't forget to write in at radposition@asrt.org, or you can fill out the form. And that site is
asrt.org/RAD Position. And be sure to subscribe, share it with your colleagues, your friends, your families, neighbors, pets,
everybody. And to all our medical imaging and radiation therapy professionals, be seen
and stay rad.